Sarah Fields. Day 1 inside the Carmello Anthony trial. I arrived at the Collin County Courthouse at approximately 6:30 a.m. for day 1 of the Carmello Anthony trial. And there's something in this that I'm going to try to hide because it'll make you so happy. It'll make you so wonderfully excited. First thing that became apparent was security. Everyone entering the courthouse had to pass through screening. Cell phones and electronic devices were prohibited. The only items brought with me were a notepad, a pen, and my sunglasses. Oh, pardon me. After passing through security, I made my way to the courtroom, or toward the courtroom area. The courthouse features a large, wide hallway leading to the jury assembly area. It was packed. There were so many potential jurors and members of the public present that you could not see the end of the hallway. Just before reaching the jury assembly area, there is a left turn into the ceremonial courtroom, which serves as the public viewing room. Word to hide. It holds roughly 60 people in the gallery. We were among the first to arrive, but the doors were locked. Several members of the sheriff's department were stationed outside. One deputy was carrying a suppressed AR rifle chambered in 9mm, which I would like to know exactly how she knows that. Granted, she could have just asked. While we waited, a heavy-set man wearing a Hawaiian shirt repeatedly stared in our direction. At one point, he sat very close to us. As he walked past me, he quietly said the word demon. As more people arrived, the crowd continued to grow. I'm going to glow. But I get ahead of myself. Several women who claimed to be from California arrived wearing purple shirts, purple hoodies, purple jeans, and purple do-rags wrapped around their heads. Others wore tank tops, shorts, hoodies, baseball caps, and other casual attire that appeared inconsistent with what most people would consider courtroom business attire. Purple is Carmello's favorite color. Oh, I thought they were doing like a slick-back joke. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. The tension in the hallway was palpable. You could almost cut it with a knife. But, ching. I don't have drums. I need like, there we go. At approximately 8:52 a.m., I approached one of the deputies and asked how seating was going to work. My concern was that if no line was formed, people would rush the entrance doors once they opened. This response surprised me. I'm really going into this just as blind as you are. The typical legal situation. At that point, I made the executive decision to start a line myself. I walked to the front, near the security table, where purses were being checked, and planted my feet. Within seconds, the crowd surged towards the courtroom entrance. The hallway against the wall became a shoulder-to-shoulder. Most of the individuals rushed forward. Most of the people rushing forward appeared to be Carmello Anthony supporters. It was a tense moment. People were packed together so tightly that it became slightly nerve-wracking. And what are you? Fucking stop that. You have a can in your hand. Nothing beats a cherry RC cola. Not sponsored. Anyway, I did not move. When the doors finally opened, I was among the first 10 to 15 people admitted to the courtroom. I immediately made my way to the front row, and then we waited for another hour and a half. At one point, members of the public teased in front, fucking Christ, teased. Listexic, not am I. At one point, members of the public seated in the front asked to move because family needed those seats. That's fair, that's fair. I can see that. We complied. The situation raised questions in my mind. Why were family members being mixed in with... Oh, that's actually a fair point. I mean, you're not going to give them special seats because they're not directly in, like, the case. They need to be separate. Where else are you going to seat them? You're going to glue them to the ceiling? The situation raised questions in my mind. Why were family members being mixed in with public seating area? Hey, how's it? Hello, Starlight. Welcome, welcome. It's going all right. I'm about to turn into a star. Don't worry. Did you know that the color black can glow? Yeah. I mean, it's all in infrared. You can't see it, but trust me, you'll notice. I waited to see who the seats were being reserved for, but shortly afterwards, the deputies informed us that we could move back. Because they had decided to, quote, seat the family elsewhere. Speed of dark is just as fast as speed of light. True, but it's the heat that matters, because I'm going to melt everything once I start glowing. Not long after, someone informed those gathered in the room that the viewing screens would likely not be on. Oh, well, why wouldn't they be? Oh, I can imagine why. They probably don't want to televise it, so it's like they're trying their best to minimize any form of television or like watching, for lack of a better description. Ooh, hang on. I gotta stop that real quick. Anyway, jury selection was not really happening in a way that the public would find eventful. Jurors were being given packets, completing paperwork, and being screened for eligibility. At that point, I decided to walk around the courthouse. As I exited the courtroom, I encountered Carmello Anthony supporter and TikTok creator John Fact. He recognized me immediately. We spoke briefly and shook hands. He was professionally dressed and respectful of our interaction. Part 2 in thread. Oh, come on. I have to go past the thing? Man. Anyway, continuing forward. After meeting John and walking out of the courtroom area, I passed directly by Dominique Alexander. There we go. Why are words so fucking hard? Mordsith, can you, like, take some of the maple syrup out of my brain? I think I might have some in there. I need kicked by a moose. That's what I need. Can you ride one down here? He saw me. He said nothing. In fact, he almost seemed perplexed as I walked past. A short time later, I witnessed sheriff deputies escorting an African-American woman out of the courthouse hallway. She was wearing a pink shirt with lace sleeves. Deputies were accusing her of... Ooh. Interesting. I later learned that she was allegedly connected to the Anthony family and had been reportedly caught recording members of the... Ooh. Spicy. Outside the courthouse, the atmosphere was just as interesting. Several supporters of Carmello Anthony were live streaming on TikTok and wearing Carmello-themed shirts. There were also multiple members of the Black Panther. Wait, they're still around? Is there any low that family won't stoop to? Apparently not. Then again, it's just saying that they were connected to the Anthony family. This might be not directly the family. But then again, it very well could just directly be the family. I don't know. I'm not them. It's a mystery. At least to me. There were also multiple members of the Black Panther movement present, which I thought the Black Panther movement died out like back in the 90s. Because, yeah, what? I could have swore that they died out. Like, not like they were all shot and killed or anything, but like, I thought they kind of got dissipated, for lack of a better description, because Malcolm X, like their main guy, was like, yeah, when I was younger, I was full of hate and rage, but as I kind of grew up, I realized that there was a whole lot more to the world. Pretty sure they're still a group, just not nearly as impactful. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess they've been under the radar enough. Like, maybe there was like a new Black Panther movement or something, and I don't know. Old blast of the past name right there. Damn. But in addition, a group calling itself the National Organization for Victim... Oh, look at me. This is going to be like the fucking, it's going to be the ADL all over again. Do you know the story of the ADL? Because it's a funny story. Imagine this, all right? I believe it was the brother of a lawyer. Okay, Morden knows, but for those who might not watching, long story short, the brother of a lawyer commits like a seriously heinous act, and he tries to pin it on a black guy. So he goes to the KKK to try to like get them to go after this black guy. They hear the guy's story and they say, dude, what the hell are you talking about? That makes no sense. Why would he do that? And the KKK, the literal Ku Klux Klan, the most racist group that you can think of, aside from maybe some of the people back in World War II, literally went out of their way to defend a black man. And we're like, yeah, this lawyer's full of shit. Or like this lawyer's brother's full of shit. And the lawyer's brother got convicted because of witness testimony by the KKK. It's so fucking silly. It's so silly. And the brother of the lawyer, or the lawyer brother, the brother of the guy who was convicted, the lawyer in this case, started the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, because his brother was innocent. Just ask him. It's so fucking silly, but I'm getting off topic. This seems like it's going to be a fucking ADL situation right here. But in addition, a group calling itself the National Organization of Victim Advocacy, NOVA, was distributing flyers featuring Austin Metcalf's photograph. Flyers stated that the organization stood, quote, in solidarity with all victims of anti-white violence. Oh boy. Oh boy. Either they really are going to be like borderline glowies, or they just straight up are glowies. Because if anyone wanted to do any sort of good, they wouldn't do something like this until after the jury had been selected. Because in this case, the flyer happens to be this right here. This is the said flyer. Now, me personally, I can, for the posterity of our... Okay, yeah, these are 100% glowies. These are glowies, 100%. As a nonprofit... Oh! An NPO? A nonprofit? Hold on, I'm gonna read this. All right, as a nonprofit organization built from a national network of volunteer communities and associated projects, NOVA seeks to build a, quote, nation within an... Okay, yeah, they're fucking 100% glowies. They are... I refuse to actually believe that this is a real thing. I wouldn't be surprised if this is fucking, like, they're actually trying to help Carmello, so they created an entire, like, bullshit thing. I believe it. Or I would believe it. I shouldn't say... I'll dance around it. I would 100% believe that they're fake. That is for damn sure. When I asked Metcalf about the group, or Jeff Metcalf about the group, he told me he did not know who they were. By approximately 11 a.m., we decided to leave. Nothing was taking place inside the viewing courtroom. The screens remained off. There was no proceedings being shown to the public. Day one ultimately consisted of juror processing, questionnaires, and administrative matters. From a courtroom perspective, it was largely uneventful. From an observational perspective, however, it was interesting, as at least one individual was escorted out over allegations of jury tampering. Tampering. It's not an E. I will return Wednesday for the continuation of jury selection. Hopefully by then the pool will have been narrowed significantly, and the process of selecting the final jurors will begin in earnest. Based on my observations throughout the morning, the crowd appeared to be overwhelmingly around 95% Carmello supporters. Now, it's curious to me. The issue with this sort of madness is that it needs the blessing of the family. If the family doesn't know what was going on, they don't follow that basic courtesy. You know what? Yeah, that's definitely true. You, in an event, especially when you're going to be handing out a flyer like this, you really should get like the family in on it so they know, because this right here could also be potentially considered jury tampering. If you are handing something out, especially like this, which, murdered, whilst yes is true, in the case of where this is being handed out and the overall sentiment of like the term murder. And yes, I know this sounds fucking stupid, but when you are presenting this in a courtroom before the jury has been fully selected, you are effectively, actually there's no effectively, I can only view this as attempting to influence any potential juror, which will lead to a mistrial. And then even if this is real, even if this isn't a glowy opera here, it's going to result in a mistrial. Carmello Anthony could potentially get away with it. Those 3 boxes, they smack of glow for poster. Yeah, exactly. For the posterity of our people, for the integrity of, like, integrity of our nation, sure. For the security of our way of life and posterity of our people. Yeah, man. If you're gonna be fucking glowies, at least glow properly, you know? But oh, wait a minute, that's why they're Nova. They're glowing like a star. Wow. Along with that .org. I don't oh wait, no, that's not. It's weird to me that an org. It's interesting to me that a nonprofit organization built from a national network, a national network nonprofit organization, like that. I don't know. Of volunteer communities and associated projects. Like, I honestly think this is glowy. Like, this is, I think this glows a little bit brighter than I want to. And that's saying something. But we move on to a little something different. Also involving knife crime, which is kind of unfortunate. If it's not glowy, it's 24 karat. You know what? True. I would actually describe it as 18 karat white gold right here. But that's just me.